This bottle brush does not clean this teat. Hi, I'm Dani from Practical Mummy Loves Luxury. Welcome to my series of videos for new or expecting parents. Today's video is going to be on newborn baby essentials that I either forgot or didn't prepare for, but I later on found super useful. Most of these products are for the baby, but I do have some essentials that I will talk about that are for mum as well. Now, I'm not saying that you will need to have every single one of these products because every mum, every baby, every family will be different. I'm just sharing my personal experience and hopefully that will be helpful to you too. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and without further ado, let's get started. So these 4 things that I'm going to start with I think are super important, especially for when the baby is sick. You never know when that will happen and you really don't want to be caught out without these items, in my opinion. I've got 2 of the 4 products here. The first one is a thermometer. The second one is NoseFrida, or a snot sucker. And then a diffuser, as well as baby Panadol. So the first item is a thermometer, and this is the one I use. It is from Vicks and you can purchase it at discount chemists. It's really easy to use. Push this button over here and it turns on. And all you need to do is to place it under the baby's armpit or under the baby's tongue. The armpit is usually more accessible because if the baby is crying, you often may not be able to get a good reading under their tongue. And for demonstration, I'm just going to measure my body temperature now. So it beeps once the temperature is taken, and it also comes up with a color for you. I'm not really sure if it's flashing green, but it demonstrates that my current temperature is 36.1 degrees. If the temperature is green, it means that the baby's temperature is in the safe zone. If it's getting to a high temperature, the color that will flash is amber or yellow. And if the baby's temperature is really high or concerning, the backlight will come up as red. And the reason I think it's really important to have a thermometer at home is because the last thing you need is for the baby to be awake in the wee hours of the morning. They're crying and you're distressed from their crying, but you don't know if they have a temperature or not. If you didn't have a thermometer and you got yourself concerned enough, you'd have to take them to hospital. However, if you did have a thermometer at home, you would be able to conveniently take your baby's temperature. And depending on what the temperature reads, it might help you decide whether you want to keep your baby at home for a little bit more and watch them, or whether you want to pick up the phone and call an ambulance, or whether you want to rush them to the hospital yourself. And my feelings towards baby Panadol is similar. Baby Panadol is the only medication that you can give for fever between the age of 1 to 3 months. For any other medication, you usually have to wait till the baby is older. So if I took my daughter's temperature and I found that it was high, but if I felt that it wasn't enough for me to take her to a doctor or bring her to hospital, I would give her some Panadol and watch to see if that settled her or not. And the last thing you need is to not have any baby Panadol at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night. I have one tip when it comes to giving medications to babies. Don't mix the medication into breast milk or into water or into formula milk. The reason being is, say for example, you mix 4 ml of a medication in with, say, 100 ml of formula. If the baby is not well, they may not necessarily finish the 100 ml of formula. And if they only drink, say, half the volume of the formula, you then don't know how much medicine you've given them. And in that situation, you can't even give your baby a top-up dose because you don't know how much they've had. And you don't want to overdose your baby. So I would strongly suggest that if you are about to give your baby any medicines, certainly give the medication on its own, separate to any other liquids. In a minute, I'll show you in a different view how I get my baby to take her medicines. Now I'm going to go on to explain the NoseFrida in more detail. So it is a snot sucker. It comes in a few parts. There's a filter over here. You'll put it together like so, and there is a detachable mouthpiece as well, and you would attach it on this end. When a baby is snotty, this is one of the most useful things you could own, and I'll show you in the top-down view how I effectively use it. There is another snot sucker which is more traditional, and I've not used that before, but I've heard overwhelming feedback that this is much better. So we're in this view so that I can show you this hack. My face is out of frame, but I think you can see my socks. I'm trying to give you a close-up so that you can see what's going on. This is what I do when my daughter is sick and I really need to check her temperature or suck out some of that snot or to give her some medication. So I'm using Polly again to demonstrate. What I would do is I would lie my daughter down and I would secure both her arms underneath my thighs like this. And this would be essentially enough to restrain her. So imagine she's screaming and crying now, and in order to take her temperature, I would turn on the thermometer and I would stick it under her arm like this. And if I wanted to suck snot out of her, I would be able to do it really quickly as well. You would gently place this against the baby's nostril and you would suck through the mouthpiece here. And very similarly, if I'm about to give her some medications, I would wait for her to open her mouth, and often that's quite easy because she would be crying. And I would place a syringe on one side of the mouth or on the tip of the tongue and gently sort of squirt that in. Baby medicines are made of liquid and they are deliberately made a little bit viscous so that they don't drip directly to the back of the baby's throat. It is so that the baby can have sensation of the medicine, and that would stimulate their swallow reflex. Be very careful not to put the medicine all the way down the back of their mouth, because if the baby is not ready, there's a risk that while they're crying, they could aspirate or inhale the medication into their lungs. So the idea is to place it closer to the front of their mouth so that they can feel it, and that would stimulate a swallow reflex. So although you have their arms secured, sometimes the baby will try and turn their head to avoid being given the medicine. And what you can do is to very, very gently secure their head with your thighs. Other than just giving medications through a syringe, if other medications like asthma puffers need to be delivered, you can also do it this way using a spacer. I learned this trick from a pediatric doctor. This technique might come across a bit harsh or invasive. Please make sure that you feel comfortable doing it before you proceed. And of course, whatever you do, don't hurt your child. But I find this super useful because the entire ordeal is over in 30 seconds. Now, I also spoke about a diffuser, and this is the one that I use. Again, this is most useful when the baby is sick. It diffuses water so the air in the room is a bit more moist, and it helps clear up the baby's airways if they're very blocked up. In order to help that as well, I do put a few drops of eucalyptus oil into my diffuser. Bear in mind, diffusers do have an effective radius. So if your room is very large, it would work best if you have the diffuser next to your baby. The specific one that I own also has a lamp function. Other times when I'm not using its diffuser function, I do use it as a lamp. A lot of diffusers nowadays come exactly like this. If you watch my channel, you know that I use an old mobile phone for many, many reasons. I think it is most useful because you can use it to play white noise, which can help with the baby's sleep. The next thing is block-out curtains or block-out blinds. So if your baby is quite light sensitive like mine, it may be quite difficult for them to fall asleep if there's any light at all in the room. So it's important to make sure that you do have some block-out curtains in the room where the baby is going to sleep. If you don't want to invest too much into curtains, or if you need it done relatively quickly, the option is to get some block-out stickers for windows. I did find some online and I will link them in the description box below. The next thing is the Dream Baby sleep bag. And I'm referring specifically to the one where the arms are tucked in. My daughter was really wriggly as a newborn, and no matter how I swaddled her, her arms always escaped. The thing is, when the babies are really young, at least for mine, her startle response was very brisk, and she startled at a lot of things, which constantly woke her up. So although it is a totally fine option to swaddle, if your baby is very wriggly and escapes out of swaddles really easily, the option is to use the Dream Baby sleep bag because the baby's arms are completely zipped up. I have found that she has slept better when her arms were fixed in these sleeping bags like this. However, these sleeping bags are not cheap. I remember purchasing them for approximately 45 Australian dollars each. But given the extra sleep I got from it, I think it was worth every penny. You might remember this from my hook. So this is a regular bottle brush that washes formula bottles. And these bottle brushes do not fit into the teats. So make sure that you do purchase one of these. This is a teat brush. And as far as I'm aware, Pigeon is the only brand that makes this brush. I don't know why these are so hard to find. Maybe it's just me, but anyway, I'll link them in the description box below. Otherwise, every once in a while, they are also in stock at Chemist Warehouse. The next thing is Bandana Bibs. I did not discover Bandana Bibs until a bit later on. I did buy a whole bunch of standard bibs, and if you watch my other videos, you know that I prefer Bandana Bibs because they sit underneath the baby's chin. And I'll put it on for you. I think this one actually fits. I'll put it on Polly for you. So Polly is a very small doll, so it's a little bit too big for her. But when I've put it on her, I think you can see how this portion of the bib stands up a little bit. And this will often rest against the chin of the baby. When it sits there, it catches all their drool as they're drooling. Standard bibs tend to only catch stuff when it rolls down to the chest, which means that a lot of food or milk or saliva tends to get stuck in the creases of the baby's neck and it gets really dirty. So I think bandana bibs are a more hygienic option. Moving on to talking about essential items for mum. The first thing I'm going to talk about is clothing with pockets. And I don't mean shallow, open, impractical pockets. I mean deep pockets or pockets with zips. I use clothing that had pockets every day when my baby was first born. Clearly, when your baby is really young, you'd be carrying them in one arm and you would use your free arm for whatever task you needed to complete. And it's so much more convenient if you can place some items in your pockets. And I found pockets really handy to carry smaller items like my mobile phone, the TV remote control, a handkerchief, or a bib or a dummy. So look into your closet. If you've got any pants with lots of good functioning pockets, put them aside because you would probably use them. And it goes the same if you've got any jackets with pockets. Now the next three items kind of go together and they're to make breastfeeding more convenient. So they would be a Kmart maternity camisole. These ones have inbuilt bra pads and they also have drop-down clips so that you can just pull them down in order to breastfeed your baby. Together with this, if you are a breastfeeding mum and the weather is cold where you are at the time, a Snood will also keep you warm. This is a short Snood. It is like a scarf, but it goes in a loop and it's got no ends that dangle to irritate the baby while you're breastfeeding. The last thing that completes the trio is a cardigan because it would mean that you can still breastfeed your baby while your arms and your shoulders are covered. If you missed this video over here where I talk about different breastfeeding products and accessories to make breastfeeding easier, I'll leave a card up here so that you can click on it and go have a look. The next thing is MultiMems. I also spoke about it in my breastfeeding products video, so I'll talk about it very quickly. MultiMems are cool nipple compresses to soothe nipple pain when you first start breastfeeding. I only bought MultiMems after my baby was born and I purchased it at the hospital. I still remember paying 28 Australian dollars for a pack of these when they were about $18 at Discount Chemist. And again, if you're interested in hearing more about MultiMems, go ahead and watch my video on breastfeeding accessories and products. The next thing is bio oil. So I used bio oil throughout my pregnancy to try and avoid stretch marks. It worked for me, so I've got no stretch marks, lucky me. But after the baby was born, I still found it really useful. So when your baby is born, you will find that you're washing your hands constantly. I found the skin on my hands were burning because I was washing them so much and they were so dry. And today's day and age with the pandemic go around, you're probably washing your hands a lot as well anyway. You're probably washing it even more if you have a newborn. So I actually now use bio oil for my hands. If you're someone like me who's got really sweaty palms and you don't like having lots of oily stuff on your hands, I'll give you a tip. I tend to put a few drops on the back of my hand and I would rub the backs of my hand together and distribute it just on the back of my hands. The next couple of things have been featured in my other videos before. They are sanitizers. So this one is eucalyptus oil sanitizer. This one removes mold, is palm oil free, and it's eco-friendly. It's natural, it's got no bleach, it kills common household germs such as E. coli and Pseudomonas. So if you like a natural cleaning product, eucalyptus oil. For heavy-duty sanitization, I use methylated spirits. It contains 95% of ethanol. It is recommended as a window cleaner or a general cleaner. Again, from this pandemic, we've learned that alcohol kills viruses as well. It also kills some fungus and bacteria. So when I want something for heavy-duty cleaning, I would put this in a spray bottle and spray down a surface. Bear in mind, it is harsh on sensitive skin and sensitive airways. So if you're someone like that, please be really careful when you use this. Methylated spirits can also sort of dissolve paint and shellac. So make sure that you don't spray it against your wooden furniture. And I'm pretty sure it will also strip nail polish. So if you're someone who's really into your nails and you've paid a lot for your nails, make sure that the methylated spirits doesn't come in contact with your nails. Use gloves or something like that. In general, I use sanitizers just to try and keep spaces clean because I want a clean house for a baby. However, babies also vomit. They also have nappy leaks and they might leak urine or feces. Some surfaces can be quite difficult to clean, for example, mattresses or pillows. So I would surface clean them as much as I can and subsequently spray one of these products down. In regards to both of these products, other than sanitization properties, they also deodorize. And I love them because there's nothing like having the lingering smell of vomit on your pillows. So next week's video is going to be on stay at home, baby activities and toys. To make sure that you don't miss that video, do subscribe and turn on notifications. In the meantime, feel free to enjoy these videos over here. If you like this video, please click on that thumbs up button and feel free to share it far and wide. Thank you so much for watching and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.